Swan of Blackrain et t'es en train d'écouter The Godless Heathens.
Lightning. Fire. Power of God or something.
He died for our sins.
That shall be his undoing.
Hey, what is going on here?
Shocking. Positively shocking.
That's just funny. Fuck you.
I love it when a plan comes together.
Hey, come here. Hi. God damn it.
Okay, now, if by any chance I get, like, flustered, when I'm hurling through space, and I pull the right one first.
Oh, well, then you're gonna wind up looking like a well-done chili burger. They're gonna have to shovel you into a coffin.
Find and fulfill your destiny.
You bastard. Drop dead.
Item 2 request.
You remember one thing. You screw up just this much, you'll be flying a cargo plane full of rubber dog shit out of Hong Kong. I'm Larry.
Fuck off, Larry.
Hey, how are you doing? This is Dr. Vincent West, medical doctor. Got a very special interview today. We've got Swan from Blackrain, and we're going to be talking about their new album that comes out November 25th. Swan, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty well, thank you.
Thank you.
I hope you're doing good as well.
Just hanging out down here in Florida. Yeah, I'm doing well. So real quick, tell us how Blackrain came to be, like your involvement in it, or just the band in general, and whatnot. Give us a little history here. It'll help me as well.
All right, I'm going to try to basically cut a long story short.
Perfect.
But Blackrain is a French band from the Alps, so right next to Switzerland. We grew up there and we started playing together basically at the end of high school. So we've been playing together for a long time now. We've released a few albums. Nowadays we are working with this German record label called SPV Steam Hammer.
It's a great label.
It is. We're very happy with them. It's in fact the first time in the band history that we're working with the same record label on 2 albums. So we've released 3 years ago an album called Dying Breed.
Okay.
And now the new one, it's so like you said, it's coming out the 25th of November, and it's called Untamed. So we're right into the promotion of the album. Pretty busy actually.
Fantastic. And as far as the writing process for the new album, when did you guys start that?
Basically at the end of the tour we had in 2019. So basically when the pandemic arrived, and so we were not in a rush. Basically it was pretty chill because we had no deadline. We didn't know when the album would be released, and it gave us a lot of time to work and to reflect on what we would do, and to change things. We did a lot of recording, and I really enjoyed this time we spent writing this new album.
Fantastic. And as far as the writing, the production for the new album between the last album, did you guys mix some stuff up, go with a different producer, or did you guys use the same folks to mix and master it?
And there were some changes. We did work with an old friend of ours for Dying Breed, and he's doing a great work, but at the end of when we were touring, it was with Kissing Dynamite, this German band.
Oh, they're great.
And the singer, yeah, they're really good. They're old friends of ours, and the singer, Hannes Braun, is actually a producer, which is a fun fact because I had no idea that he was working as a producer, writing music and all that stuff. So when I got to know this, I was like, damn man, we've been, knowing each other for so many years, and I had no clue you were actually producing the Kissing Dynamite albums. And I love the sound, I would really love to have a track mixed by you. And so as soon we got off the tour, I actually sent him like a couple of tracks to mix, and it sounded so good that it was like super clear we would work with him for the whole album, and hopefully again in the future. His work is it's really outstanding, and we're really satisfied with it. We never been so happy about the production in Blackrain.
Fantastic. And then as far as some of the tracks on the album, what are some of the standout tracks for you on the record, on the new album?
Well, I would say what's interesting with this album is there's a lot of diversity on in between the tracks. So it goes, from hard rock to real heavy metal. There's a lot of melodic kind of stuff, and a lot of more aggressive kind of tracks as well. So personally, there's this song called "Kiss the Sky" that I really love, because there is a lot of sounds that we never used in the past, like some keyboards, and it really fits well in the music, and it really gives new colors that we didn't have before. So for me, it sounds really interesting. That's, for example, one of my favorites. And then you have those more typical kind of tracks like we released already for the singles. So the title track, Untamed, is really like a typical kind of simple but efficient kind of hard rock song. It's very, very good to play live. It works very good with the audience. So you got a lot of different things to listen to on this album, and if you're a little bit curious, you should just check it out.
Oh, absolutely. It sounds right in my wheelhouse. As far as like when you guys do a record promotion, are you all planning like a tour for this record this year, or maybe beginning of next year, or what are your all's tour plans so far?
There's a lot of concerts that we're waiting for confirmations. Some are already confirmed, but we're mostly discussing at this time. We plan to actually go on tour in the end of this year, but unfortunately we could not make this happen. So I'm confident we will do this sometimes next year. But I can't really talk much about it because I'm not the one dealing with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, of course.
So unfortunately, I can't. I don't want to say stuff that might not happen.
Of course.
That I should not just talk about.
Absolutely.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. Have you guys ever played in the States before?
No, we did not. We've been in the States. We've been recording actually, but we've never been playing. So we'll see. I think it's the first time that I'm giving a few interviews and doing some real promotion stuff in the United States.
Excellent.
So I guess it's a good thing, and the
Sure.
feedback so far is really good. So hopefully we can fly over and play a little bit. We will see.
It's interesting. There's a lot of stuff that I like, and it's European bands like yourself that have kept, really good rock music alive, and even, a lot of just metal stuff just in general, just all over the place. I'm a big fan of the band Heat from Sweden. I've never got to see them. They played at some melodic rock festival here years ago in Chicago, but it was sold out before I could even, and Chicago is nowhere near where I live. I live in Florida, but there's a lot of stuff over there. The Kiss and Dynamite Cats you're talking about, I think they're great. And it's, there's a lot of cool stuff like that. It just seems like,
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's a lot of really good stuff happening in Europe. And I think Europe has kept hard rock and metal alive for so long because you guys are just great and you have the fan base to support it and whatnot over here, whereas America just kind of sucks. I think it's more. As far as like what I mean is like it's not the great music isn't supported over here like it should be, unfortunately.
All right.
You know what I mean? Like there's people here that love it, like me, but unfortunately it's not supported, the way it should be. Unfortunately, they waste more time on like hip hop and crap like that. But yeah.
But this is a very like general situation. Don't fool yourself thinking it's only in the States. I think the situation is just the same over here. And,
really?
So yeah, absolutely, man. It's we are from France, but I moved away like 7 years ago, and now I live in Sweden.
Sure.
Because for some reason I live in Sweden. I always liked Scandinavia in general, but the scene here, the music scene in Scandinavia, and especially in Finland and Sweden, is there's a lot of bands. There's a lot of quality in the metal scenes. There's a lot of things coming out, and it's really good. But there's also a lot of hip hop shit, like stuff you could not even imagine.
Really?
It's much worse than it's much worse than what you got in the States. And what's really sad is that the youth, the young people, I really it seems to me that there is less and less rock into their lives. And I see the rock bars are closing one after each others.
Yeah.
It's a really small community, and basically the fans there reunite every year on the festivals. So there's that's a good thing in Europe, that we have huge festivals everywhere. In France you got Hellfest, in Sweden you got Sweden Rock. And in each country, there's plenty of those huge festivals, and there's a lot of fans. But I feel a little bit like the audience and the crowd is actually really aging. It's a lot of older people now. So it's sad, and I think the media has a lot of things to do with it, because they don't show. They don't show the younger people all kind of music. It's very restrictive. It's only this this hip hop stuff, and it's just not the same, I guess. But still, in the States, I think you have a lot of great bands emerging, and it's very interesting. It's a lot of new things coming from the States all the time, and we tend to try to copy what's coming from the USA, basically, I would guess.
I wish I knew what you were talking about, because, see, to me, like, I grew up in Florida. I'm a big, death metal's a big thing that I'm into, but I also grew up, listening to, like, Rat and Skid Row and stuff like that, and I love all that stuff, which is kind of unheard of with a lot of people. But what's interesting is in the early 90s, I don't know how old you are, I'm almost 50 years old, but when I was growing up, all this grunge shit hit, and I hated all of that crap. And everybody mimics that crap here. Like, everybody thinks Dave Grohl is Jesus. I fucking hate that dude. Like, he has ruined music in this country forever and a day. I don't have a problem with Nirvana and Kurt Cobain. I just don't like Dave Grohl. I hate Foo Fighters. I hate him. I seriously, I'm being honest with you. And like, he's hurt music in this country, and how that guy sells out arenas, I will never be able to answer that for you. I don't get it. Like, I would rather come. I'd rather come to Europe.
He's the coolest guy on earth, I guess.
I can't fucking stand him. I hate him. And
it's really funny, because when we were recording this album a few years back in LA, it was actually a thing that all the producers, all the people we were working with, they were having the exact same words about Dave Grohl that you just had, and it's it was unbearable for them that they were saying, I just took the plane and you can't miss him. He's everywhere. He was even in the book that was. That you get in the plane to order your fucking drinks or food,
Sure.
It was even his face was there. So I guess this Dave Grohl must have the best promoting agent in the world.
Dude, I don't get it.
You just can't miss him.
I don't get it, and
that's
when
the way it is, and he's very popular in Europe as well.
I don't
People
get it.
loves him here as well.
I don't get it.
But why do you think he actually he's killing the music?
Well, so I'll tell you a story. So when he was in Nirvana, he was in a movie that that band Sonic Youth put out called The Year Punk Broke, okay? And in the documentary, he is making fun of hard rock and metal. And now the guy tries to act like he's like, yeah, man, I'm metal and I'm in horror. I made my little horror movie and all this stuff. He's a fucking poser. That guy's the fakest motherfucker walking this planet. And people in this country treat him like he's fucking John Lennon. I'm like, he's not John Lennon. You want to call Kurt Cobain that's fine. I have nothing against Nirvana. I saw Nirvana several times when I was growing up. I thought they were kind of cool. Not really my thing, but I thought Kurt Cobain was interesting. But Dave Grohl is literally, he would not have a fucking music career unless he had played drums in that band. And he acts like that band never existed.
He's a great musician still, and I agree with you that I don't know this man, and I think it's very possible indeed that everything he's doing is related to business and
it is.
to how much money he's going to make out of it if he's saying this or if he's doing that.
Oh yeah,
that's probably true. But that's the feeling I had when we were in LA, I was a bit disappointed about that place because it used to be, it's kind of legendary about.
Of course.
After what happened in the 80s.
Sure.
Everybody's been there, but when we actually ended up in LA doing an album, I was very disappointed about this whole atmosphere because I really felt like it was fake from the beginning to the end. And people. The way you described Dave Grohl, I felt like it was everybody like this in LA.
It's true, man. I used to live in Venice Beach. I lived in Venice Beach like 20 years ago, dude. It's the fakest, bunch. I mean, I know some people that live out there and they're really cool, but a lot of the people that are there and the stuff that's going on, it's like it's really bad,
Yeah. I think basically it was really hard to make friends. People, come to you to just to check if you're of any interest for them, and at the second they realize that you're not so important or that you're not going to bring them anything, it's like they don't know you anymore. And I was very shocked by that attitude, actually.
Oh, dude, I mean, it's and you described it perfectly. And unfortunately, there's a lot of places like that. And like I said, I know people that have went out there and they get mesmerized by it, and but the reality is it's all bullshit. And even Tool back in the 90s, the band Tool, they wrote a record about that whole state falling in the fucking ocean. So it's like, a lot of people don't like it. Like I said, I live there. Way over at price to live in. Northern California is beautiful, but very expensive and a lot less fake. I think Northern California is a lot nicer, but yeah, I totally and I hate that's your experience coming over here because, like I said, people can make fun of me for living in Florida. Florida's cheaper and prettier and nicer than California. Politically, it's kind of a shit show, but I love living down here.
Yeah, it's I didn't make. I had a bad experience with LA. It's not the worst. I had fun, and I have many friends that actually moved there. But it's been really hard for them, and that
it's expensive.
Certain of it's expensive, and they're like I said, they didn't have any real friends, and they were on their own for many years. And nowadays it's better. They've been living there for so long.
Sure.
That, it's okay.
Sure.
But they had a really, really tough time. And but I know, of course, United States. It's so huge that you can't just make up your mind about LA and think it's all the same. I'm sure there's beautiful places.
Oh,
for
yeah.
European dude like me that grew up in a small town in France, it's much more we help each others, and we don't pretend to be people we're not. It's very simple, so it was hard for me to accept the way it was in Los Angeles, and that's also something. One of the reasons I believe that there is so many bands coming out over here. It's because everybody's kind of helping each other. You know, everybody knows each other, and
sure.
It doesn't matter if you play black metal or if you play hard rock. You still drink beers together and promote each other.
Sure.
So it's quite cool, you know.
Well, you know, the label you're on has so many amazing bands, and unfortunately, a lot of those bands I've never got to see. I love the stuff that's on SPV and Steamhammer. They put out so much good stuff. Yeah, and fucking Motorhead was on there, man. I thought that was the coolest thing in the world. Lemmy was on there forever.
Yeah.
And you know, it's like, I mean, there's this there was great stuff, and it's, you know, I think Gamma Ray used to be on there. A lot of bands that I like were on there. Power metal stuff, classic metal stuff. You know, the stuff you guys are doing. I did get to check out some of your old stuff. It's definitely in my wheelhouse. Like I said, it's one of those things, though. I'm telling you, I don't think, because I have friends that will leave Florida, go into Mexico and Mexico City to see concerts, to see bands that never play in this country.
All right. I had no clue, to be honest.
Oh, dude, there's a huge. You should probably talk to your PR people. Like, I'm telling you, there's a huge market for the kind of stuff you all do in Mexico. Like, it's huge. Like, you know, they have these festivals, and you know, it's fucking crazy. Power metal, black metal, death metal, like, you know, classic like AOR stuff. Like, however you would describe your band, but I mean, I think there's definitely a market there for it. You know.
Yeah, there is in South America, actually. I know there's a lot of fans in. We do have fans in like Chile, Colombia.
Hell yeah.
Mexico, I didn't. I knew that there were a lot of glam metal fans. Actually.
Oh yeah, man, absolutely.
And I just saw that they had this huge festival as well. I can't remember the name, but yeah, I guess there's a big scene for that of it.
Yeah, I was talking with Johnny, the singer of Axel Rudy Pell, and you know, he was like, "Dude, you know, we don't play in the States, and I would love to see. I love Axel Rudy Pell, and Johnny was like the coolest dude in the world. But I think they played at the festival you're referring to.
That's possible. That's possible. I can't remember the name right now, but I'm surprised that the bands that don't tour in the States anymore.
Oh, dude, it does not happen.
It's a huge market, actually.
But he told me, he was like, for them, like specifically for like Axel Rudy Pell, he's like, he just doesn't, like, Axel doesn't want to play over here. And I get it. I mean, well, I mean, if he's playing big, if he's got a sold out tour in Europe, I don't blame him. I mean, I get it. You know, I guess I just need to get my ass to Europe, you know. But
it's understandable. But I thought people would still go to the shows in the States, but maybe people listen to something else now. I don't know.
Dude, I'm telling you, it's a lot of hip hop and rap, and you know what? I don't care about that, but it's a lot of like these artists, and they're on TikTok, which is an app I fucking hate. I think that's for like, if you're on that, to me, you should be like 25 or younger to be on that app. Like, I have friends that are like my age on that app. It's like, why are you on that app? Like, it's like for kids, you know? Like, I don't have any kids, but if I had kids, I'd be like, oh, they're on TikTok, whatever, you know? But it's like, but it's all rap stuff.
It's not only for kids.
It's all like dance and rap stuff, and you know, and that's fine. But like I said, I think there's a market. I was talking with, do you like Danger Danger? Do you remember them from the 80s?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so I'm a huge fan of that band. I read recently, and this is real, Ted Poley needed money, and he played like an acoustic show at a Subway. That's sad, man.
Okay.
At a fucking sub shop. That's terrible. I hate to hear that, because Danger Danger is like one of my favorite, if not my favorite, like hair band from the 80s or AOR or whatever you want to call it. And he had to play at a fucking Subway. That makes me sick to my stomach. Like, I hate.
Man, but you know, that's another reality from today. And like I mentioned before, it's clear when I look at the numbers on Spotify, for example.
Sure.
The audience for that kind of music is very old. I mean, you know, people listening to Blackrain they are basically 10 years older than us, which is a fun fact.
And that's me.
Yeah. But I mean, where are what the young people, what they do, what they listen to? I guess the metal scene in America is different now. You got bands like, Motionless in White. Have you heard that?
Oh yeah, I know who they are. It's not my kind of thing at all, but they're very popular.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. I think the metal scene in America has another face today, and this is not the same kind of fans. And talking about bands like Danger.
Yeah.
Those bands, I love them. They were great.
Same here. I love the shit.
Great. But they had the very limited success back in the days. If you compare to bands like Motley Crue or Guns N' Roses.
Well, what happened to Danger? I'll just tell you, grunge is what happened to them. Like that debut album. I saw them open for Kiss on the Hot in the Shade tour.
You can't blame everything on grunge.
No, well, I mean, the record company's agenda is what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the artist, but I'm saying the record company, from a business standpoint. This isn't like my rant about Dave Grohl. Hear me out, but it's one of those things where they decided to promote. They stopped promoting the stuff that I was listening to.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's sad.
But you're right. The media, they always have the biggest role in that kind of things. And it's the same. They play the same role today with the hip hop and stuff. You're absolutely right. Yeah.
Sure. I mean, it's
people. They eat what you give them to eat. So
you're right.
Obviously, if you just decide to feed them with shit, they will only eat shit. And,
you're right. I mean, and like I said, it's not even about, but it hurt me as a fan, like Warrant. Look, all that stuff with Janie Lane, and I mean, it was very sad. Yeah. And they were a great band. Rat was a great band. I loved Rat. I saw Rat so many times growing up. They're probably, them and Danger are like my favorite two, quote unquote, like hair bands.
All right.
And it's like, I was never real big into Motley Crue. That was never a band I was into. Guns N' Roses I liked. But I mean, Guns N' Roses more like Appetite era. That was when I liked them. But I mean, it was, and I saw them on that tour. Like I saw them open for Motley Crue and Girls, 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 and people were throwing shit at them. And then a year later, they were bigger than Motley Crue was.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
Skid Row is another band that I love, and they've got one of those guys that, not the original vocalist, but the second vocalist, I guess Eric, that sang in Heat. He's on their new album, and their new album is fucking killer if you've not heard it. Like, it's great. Like,
I've heard a few songs, and it's really good, but I really like Eric. I always thought he was a great singer.
He is
from from the start, from when he was singing in the TV show.
Oh yeah.
So he's one of the best vocalists out there right now, I believe. So yeah.
Very talented.
He's bringing some good thing to Skid Row, I must say.
Absolutely.
And, it sounds very close to actually Sebastian Bach.
Oh, dude, I watched a video of him doing 18 in Life. I think it's Sweden Rock or somewhere in Europe, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit, like he's nailing it, dude. It sounds like you're listening to the album. I was like, wow. So
absolutely.
I'm happy for them. I'm happy for Snake and Rachel. I think it's great that they're, and I think it's great that they've got him, and it's cool, and like I said, and
I think it gives them a little bit of a kick in Europe, because Eric is it's a big thing here in Sweden.
Sure.
This little dude from this little town in Sweden just basically was singing Skid Row in a TV show, and it just ended up being the singer of the band. That's a movie, basically.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Hey, dude, thank you so much for doing this today, Swan. Blackrain's new album comes out November 25th on SPV. Dude, thank you for doing this. Let's do this again sometime. I hope you had fun chatting with me.
Thank you. It was a really fun chat, actually. It was super cool.
Dude, yeah, thank you.
Cracker Jack timing, Wang. Total concentration. You ready, Jack? I was born ready. I don't know how, but they found me. Run for it, Marty! Oh my God. They found me. I don't know how, but they found me. Run for it, Marty!
Doc?
Take us out.
Ready, good sir.
Brought a tear to my eye.
I'll be quiet.